The next practice is the ellipse. The ellipse is a tricky element to practice because it really requires a lot of practice. An ellipse is really just a round line that is sort of compressed or skewed. So we can think about the ellipse kind of starting out flat and then kind of widening out for us. Sort of tilting its axis, and then eventually more or less kind of rounding out. And so this would be the angle of this, or the axis, is more or less pretty much straight on, but our viewpoint is changing because we're looking at it flat, and then we kind of go up top of it. So practicing it, you can start, by just kind of freehanding it, and when you freehand, I would say you could start out by doing like light lines, sketchy lines that sort of get darker as you build it up and you're straightening out. And the key with the ellipse is going to be that you want to have even sides. So like that would be kind of a no-no. This would be kind of a no-no. This is also a no-no. I would say this is probably pretty good overall, because if I split that, we have more or less an even side on this side, and even, both of these are in equal length and width. So that's the goal. Is when you're practicing these things, you can get roughly an evened out sides to all four parts. In other words, from this way to this way and this way to this way. So yeah, you could start off freehand, just sort of lightly building that up. As you get more confident, you also want to practice sort of one stroke that is, like that. One stroke. You can go both directions. You can go this way, and that's a terrible one right there. You can see how bad I am right now with that, going the other way. So I feel like I should be practicing maybe that direction a little bit more, and sometimes it just sort of comes around. So as you get confident, you can practice, just this one stroke and see if you can get it. You can obviously do a variety of them. You can do very large ellipses, and you can do very little ones. You can do wider ones, that is, they're wide this way. And you can also think about them in terms of their perspective, and that is, as you look at an ellipse, their angle, that is how you see this cylinder, perhaps has this kind of a perspective on it. So it's a little bit like that. And so these perspective would, if I sort of box this out, this would be the furthest point on this side. So you can think about them that way as well, that how they might line up in perspective as well. And this is a little bit off right now, but I hope you get the point. So anyway, so you can think about them in terms of having an axis like this, and you can try to put down in accordance to that axis. I will say that's a little bit tougher than all the other methods, but you can certainly practice that, as well. So having an axis, and I would say, you could sort of think about it like that big. There it is. But I would really practice a lot of them in various angles, various size, just sort of getting comfortable with, you know, getting them down quickly so that they feel even. So you could do like all the other, you can do piles and piles and tons of these with the pencil, with the pen. I mean, you can do these very much almost passively. You know, have a conversation and continue to do these. So that's the ellipse part.